has hardly any root system at all.
Yeah, I wasn't doing good from the get-go.
Hey guys, how's it going? Today is going to be a tree / maybe some shrub planting day. We're going to be focusing on 3 of these weeping Alaskan cedars first because I've got some spots picked out and I think they're going to be absolutely beautiful. And we're going to be able to reach each one of these spots with the tractor. So we'll be able to use the pinchers to lift them, move them, and then also the auger to dig holes. We will have one more weeping Alaskan, but I think it's going to be going behind the outdoor fireplace. And that one we're going to have to hand dig the hole. And I don't even have the design vision in mind yet for that space, except for I do know I want a weeping Alaskan cedar in the general area. So we're going to wait on that one today. But we'll see what other ones we get to. I've got some lilacs that are beautiful that I would love to possibly plant. And they're a little smaller, a little easier to get in the ground. I've got 2 white, angel white lilacs and 2 purples. And I can't remember what variety of purple they are. Let me look. Of course, they're already done blooming. Oh, here we go. President Lincoln. I've got 3 of these in the south garden and they are awesome. But I'd love to have some lilac interest worked in the borders out here. So you probably just saw that Aaron popped a royal frost birch out of the ground, which ended up being very easy. When we finally got it out, the root ball was so small on it, it probably could have been hand pulled out. And here we are getting the tractor out and chaining it up and thinking it was going to be a big job because it was planted year before last. Last year it got its fall color really early and defoliated. And I thought, well, that's weird. I didn't see any spider mites. I didn't see that anything was particularly wrong with it. And I think whatever was going on was underground because of how fragile that root system was. It wasn't when we planted it, so I'm not sure. Anyway, we had to pull that one out of the ground in order to access the area where our first weeping Alaskan is going to go. And it is my intention to go back in with a royal frost birch in that spot and just hope that it was a fluke, because I really want that structure and that color of tree in that particular location. While we wait, I'm going to tip this birch back up real quick. Isn't this a beauty? Oh, I don't even know if I can. There we go. It's the same variety that we just planted in my parents' garden. We picked up a couple as well to work into our borders out here. We may get these Oregon green Austrian pines planted as well. Hopefully. Here he comes.
Which one do you want to get first?
Probably just the one furthest in.
Okay.
That birch tree. What in the world?
What about it?
The birch tree with the root system.
Oh, yeah, right. What? Like what?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't doing well.
No, it wasn't.
It didn't stool out at all.
No, it
when
didn't.
I lifted it up, I felt 0 resistance. I kind of feel like maybe we could have just lifted it up by hand.
We could have, I think.
Yeah.
How funny. Okay. Do you want to direct him? Paul speaks tractor language better than I do. Oh, look at that gorgeous tree. They grow about 25 by 15. Money right there. That's pretty. It's perfect. That's money. That's so pretty. Hold on.
Is that good?
That's probably fine, right there. That's really not that deep of a root ball.
No, it's not. That's okay, we can backfill it.
Yeah, pack it down real good. There goes Erin. We're gonna go take the auger off and put the pinchers back on. We placed 3 Weeping Alaskan cedars and 2 Oregon Green Austrian pines. I did pull out the Tiger Eye sumacs that I relocated out here last fall. They all were rooting in and all producing growth, but I'm going to call baloney on the whole rumor that Tiger Eye's sumacs do not spread as aggressively as the older varieties. They didn't for the first 3 years, but oh my goodness, are they ever trying to spread right now. So I don't want that problem out here, and don't believe what the tags say. We are gonna keep the 3 main sumacs that I planted that have a really pretty trunk, and we're just gonna keep after the new growth. But even the 3 that I left out there last year after I took after that whole section, we're gonna take those out as well. So we'll just have a very limited amount, and we may even bury some metal flashing or something around, like in a ring around the sumacs to try to discourage. I don't know if how deep they'll go to try to root in. It seems like their roots are pretty surface, so we might be able to contain their growth. We shall see. But these 5 trees that we just placed, I'm so excited about. Okay, so here's Erin with the pinchers and our first tree. We're just gonna go in the order that we placed them. So this is what we do. Erin's gonna pinch the root ball and lift the whole thing up. You can see this metal cage right here. Well, that goes around the sides and also around the bottom of the root ball to keep it all together. But we have found, like in a lot of areas, everybody leaves this wire cage on because it rusts and kind of goes away after time. But we've had experiences where they just don't. So we like to remove them. So when he lifts this root ball up, we cut just the bottom of the cage off. We leave the sides though intact as well as the string until we get it down in the hole. Once it's down in the hole, we can cut the rest of the wire cage off, unravel it, and we also cut all the string off at that point. We leave the burlap because that does compost and go away, but the string and all the metal and all the plastic comes off. All right, here we go. So now that it's lifted, Paul's gonna come in here with the bolt cutters. We'll cut off the bottom. There it is. So that's what we do prior to putting the tree in the hole. Now we're gonna measure the hole and pack down. This one got dug a little bit too deep. So we're gonna make sure we measure correctly so that the root ball is up out of the ground a little bit, and we really pack that soil back in really tight. And we'll probably err on putting the root ball even higher than normal, just because this will settle even a little bit more, even though we pack it in.
Soil levels.
Yeah, it's kind of deceiving with the mound of soil out there.
I think we're pretty good right there.
Okay, perfect. I grab the biotone. Nice. So at this point, Paul is going to kind of right it a little bit and decide if we need to turn it in any which way to get the right side facing. Okay, so now Paul is removing the plastic from around the root ball, and then Aaron's got the bolt cutters there. So we'll remove the rest of the basket and then all of the string. Oh, is that a grub? Ooh, kill it. Don't want that. I kind of love being the camera holder.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we get in here and take a look, all the string is gone. The burlap is the only thing left, and I kind of like to usually ungirdle it from the trunk a bit. Yes, just like that. Look at that. Oh, freedom. Now it can breathe. So now we're just gonna make sure it's straight. We're gonna pack it in. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I love it. You know, while they're doing that, I've got a blackberry I need to tend to. Blackberries are all looking pretty good except for this one, which there is a lot of new growth on it, but there's a lot of canes that just don't look that great. That looks better. Thank goodness for thornless blackberries. Oh, that looks so pretty. All right, tree 1 out of 5 done. Looks awesome. So we do the same method on all the trees that are like this. So we're just gonna get after it, and we'll take a tour when we're done. Alright guys, we got all 5 planted. They look awesome. The breeze is starting to pick up just a little bit. I had to take a break right after we got done because I had dough rising inside. So I had to go get it ready for its second rise, which is what it's doing right now. So we'll have some yummy rolls with dinner tonight. But every time we plant something like this, I always think, why didn't I think about putting that in sooner? And I know, I mean, we plant a lot of things and we have a lot of projects going on, but every time we fill a space, especially with an evergreen, it makes me so happy. And look at that. It's just gorgeous right there. So we have President Lincoln lilacs, which will get about 10 to 12 feet tall. And this one, I was just reading up on the stats just to confirm, because I said 25 by 15, and I think they can get 25 to 30 by about 12. So it's going to be perfect. We'll have this beautiful, tall, elegant looking towering tree with these smaller. I'm going to keep these trained up into multi-trunk. That one just looks like a bush right now. I need to go in and clean that one out. They're almost done blooming, but this is a really good example of what their blooms look like. That beautiful just lavender, just pure lavender, really fragrant. Two of the ones that we have out by the high tunnel that we need to plant are this variety. So that's what we can expect those to be like, which are going to be going out in the dirt lands. Got some red-winged blackbirds on the bird feeder right now. But I love having the blue spruce, and then this will replace that royal frost birch that's, right back here where that hole is. So we'll have a nice canopy toward the back here with red leaves. Here's a look from this side, and it worked out perfect because we haven't done any mulching out here yet this season. They've gone through, fixed all the drip issues. Aaron and Paul did that one day. So, making a big old giant mess like this is what our soil looks like. This is what it looks like when it's dry, nice and white. It's perfect. We'll run drip to this tree, and then we can cover over all of this with our compost, which we use as mulch. And we did scoot it this way enough to where there's plenty of room to get in here and access the blackberries. We'll be coming in with some other things too. Like right in here, there'll be a larger shrub. And what I mean by access is we can access it with our gator. I want to make sure that we don't neck down this walkway too much. While we're over here, I just have to show you this pairing because it's particularly striking. This is a lemony lace elderberry. Oh my word, is that ever gorgeous. And putting it up against, this is an Oregon green Austrian pine. Now we planted 2 of those today. This one looks a lot different. Clearly we started with a lot smaller specimen to start off with, but these grow about like 20 to 25 by 10 to 15 feet wide. So they stay quite a lot smaller than your traditional Austrian pines, but they give you that deep green. And I just have been enjoying like this view. I go this way, you can see the yellow twig dogwood in bloom, the lemony lace, the Oregon green, then we've got a blue spruce back in there. So fun. And now we've got the gorgeous weeping Alaskan. Oh, I love when things start to come together, especially when you don't really have a plan for a space to begin with. Okay, heading out there for the other ones. Look at that. We'll just do this one next. Oh, and you can see the other one. Oh, the form of these just looks so graceful to me. I love them. So there's the second one right there. It's next to a spruce of some variety. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But this is how slow it grows. Like, this is its new growth for the season. It might get a little bit longer than that, but a couple inches a year. And while this one will get biggish, when it's mature, it's going to take forever. So I wanted to get something in here that could kind of help fill in some space and provide that deep green. Look at that structure right there. And that we kind of are lacking that along this area in particular. I'm going to be a little bit sparse in my evergreens right in this spot because that is a London plane tree. Is it an alive London plane tree? Oh yeah, they just get so massive. And I have never had one. This one got nipped by the frost, so we'll see what happens. Like you can see where it pushed leaves, but they're crunchy. Oh boy. They are gorgeous, gorgeous trees when they get big. And not really knowing how quickly it's going to grow in this space, I don't really want to put a bunch of evergreens in here that will get shaded very quickly, if that makes sense, because I'd love another weeping Alaskan right in here, but it would compete with this one for sure. Look at that one. My goodness. It's fun to tuck in things that look like that in really advantageous spots, like for the view, the vista. They're working on pulling up all this drip where we planted annuals last year. Isn't that beautiful though? We've got a blue sky Serbian spruce right here, the weeping Alaskan now, some snowball bushes. This is a cinnamon curls birch, black lace elderberry. There is a bald cypress right back in there, rail raindrops crabapple, and there's a Norway spruce. We got a lot of beautiful things out here. Bloomering, standard lilac, Vanderwolf pine. But let's look at this one from the entryway. My goodness. That's some drip tubing right there. Oh yeah, look at that. So as you drive in, you get to see that one almost first. And you're putting 2 of my favorite evergreens on our entire property together. That Serbian, blue sky Serbian spruce and the weeping Alaskan. These 2 right here. Really pretty color out here as well. Gin Fizz juniper is doing well. Should have some gorgeous berries on it this year. But there's the Oregon green right there. Bethany's hard at it. We're getting ready to get the dahlia rows all set up right over there. But Oregon green, gorgeous. So if we come around this side, I love that it kind of hides the hose link. While hose links are just amazing tools to have in the garden, don't love seeing them particularly. So it's nice to have something like this, which is going to grow out about 5 to 6 feet. So it'll just kind of just shroud that just enough from certain angles. And then we can come in with something really pretty right here. We've got the serviceberry next to it, which only gets, 4 to 6 feet wide. Grows more of a pillar. So I've got room to do something skinny right in here. But this is a pretty view. You can see lots of beautiful evergreens, lots of color. It's just really coming together. And this doesn't look anything like the Oregon green I just showed you, does it? As they grow up, they get a little bit more open, a little more airy. And the difference, other than the fact that these stay a lot smaller than the regular Austrian pines, is that these are deeper green and their needles are much more like compact and tidy. They're not quite as fluffy as an Austrian, a traditional one. Really pretty. Okay, let's go take a look at that last Oregon green out there in the dirt lands and then grab a couple lilacs. So we were going to put it right back here, but then I got to thinking there's already things here, and even though it's not all evergreen, there was nothing in between this Leyland cypress and this Vanderwolf. So that's where we put it. Now the trunk on this one is really wonky. I think for sure we're gonna have to stake this one because the root ball isn't the issue. It's like wobbly, the root ball itself, like the trunk that goes down into the root ball is wobbly. So we'll get that all lashed up so it's nice and straight, but it's nice to have it in between this one and this one. This is where the sumacs were, and we'll get some other shrubby things. In fact, I could pop one of the lilacs right out here. Looks like Aaron already came out here and watered this one. Very nice. But this area is filling up beautifully as well. Our big tree pile over there is dwindling. It's fun to get them in the ground, and it's still so cool out. In fact, we still have, I thought we were safe and into the 40s, but we've got like 37, which I'm not really scared for any of our stuff out here in the landscape at that temperature, but it still makes the days pretty cool. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? First off, death to the sumacs. Let's grab a President Lincoln. Yeah, 10 feet tall, 6 feet wide. And let's grab a white one too. Okay, both lilacs are in. The purple one, President Lincoln, is down that way. The white one is here, right where the sumacs were planted. So I think this will be a much better, more suitable plant for this area. And thankfully, I mean, we'll just have to clean up some of this drip system, or drip tubing rather, that was brought over to the sumacs, and we can run it right here to the lilac. We plant a lot of lilacs around our area because of how tolerant they are of our high pH soil, high pH water. They just thrive, and they look good all season long, even when they're not in bloom. They just maintain this nice, clean, green look without showing signs of, iron deficiency, which a lot of things do in our high pH soil. That high alkalinity, it binds up the nutrients in our soil, specifically iron. And so the plants that are more prone to that iron deficiency, they just don't handle it as good as the lilacs do. Let's go take a look at the other one. My timer just went off for my dough. So I gotta go back in and finish that up here in a minute. Thankfully, I was backfilling the hole around that lilac as my timer went off. It was perfect timing. And there's that one. Just perfect. We've got an Austrian pine right behind it, and there's a birch and a crabapple nearby. And lilac, specifically this variety, seems to shoot out suckers around it, which is totally fine by me. I'm not gonna worry about keeping this one in any kind of multi-trunk, like shaving up, the undergrowth so that you can see the trunks. This is just going to be allowed to do what it wants. and it can grow and fill in this area. And you guys, that is going to be it for today's project. So happy to have those evergreens in. Happy to get the lilacs in. I mean, they were pretty root bound, so they were a little hard to keep wet in their containers because I utilized a lot of it. Now they'll be happy out here in the ground. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.